Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, and today we are going to solve a Google Code Jam problem. This question is from the qualification round 2020, and we're just gonna go ahead and try solving this question. Okay, so this is a problem statement that we have to go through in order to solve this challenge. So we'll quickly go through this statement and try to figure out that what the question is actually trying to ask us and what we have to do, and then after that we'll move ahead towards the coding itself. Okay, so at the start, the problem states that given a string of digits s, so we will be given a string which will have digits, and the string will be called s. Insert a minimum number of opening and closing parentheses. Okay, so we have to add opening and closing parentheses, and we have to keep it minimum uh, into it into the and we have to do all that to the input string that we are given at the start of the question, such that, and we have to do that in such a way that the resulting string is balanced. Okay, so the answer of the string should be balanced, and each digit d is inside the exactly d pairs of the matching parentheses. So if we have a string in which we have multiple digits, so in that string, in each or around each digit, we have to put equal number of pairs of the parentheses. So that's what I think this question is trying to tell us. We can just go ahead and we can see that, for example, in the following strings, all the digits match their nesting depth. Okay, so the nesting depth is actually the number of pairs of the parentheses according to the digit itself that we have to put around that digit, right? So here it says that all the digits match the nesting depth. So we can see first we have this 0 digit, and we can see there's no pair of the parentheses around it. So that means it matches the nesting depth, or the digit, because 0 means nothing, so no parentheses are being drawn around it. And after that we have this 2 right here, and because the digit is 2, so the nesting depth it must be 2, and because the nesting depth is 2, so we have to put 2 brackets around this number. So we can see this 2 is actually enclosed in these 2 pairs of the parentheses. So the nesting depth actually matches the digit itself. And after that we have this 1 here, and this one is enclosed in this 1 pair of the parentheses. So that is how I think the question is trying to tell us that the digits actually match their nesting depth, because they are enclosed in the equal number of pairs of the parentheses. And after that, similarly, we have another string which has digits 3, 1, 2, and we can see this 3 is enclosed in the 3 pairs of the brackets. And after that we have this 1 here, and this 1 is actually enclosed in only 1 pair of the bracket. And after that we have this 2 here, which is actually enclosed in 2 pairs of the brackets. And similarly we have this 4, and because this is the only 1 digit in the string, so we can see it is enclosed in these 4 pairs of brackets. And after that we have this right here. The question states that the first 3 strings have the minimum length among those that have the same digits in the same order. So it says that these 3 strings are actually results in the minimum length, like we had to extract as the answer, which it actually means that this if we think this is the output of this string, which was originally 0 to 1, so it says that this output string has the minimum length, and the same goes for the other 2 as well. But it says that, but the last one does not. But the question says that the last string, output string, isn't the one that have minimum length, because it could also be written as this. And we can see that we have this 2 here, so this 2 should be enclosed in two brackets, and we have these two brackets, and again we have this 2 here, and this 2 also should be enclosed in two brackets, and we can see that it is also enclosed in these two brackets, and then we have this one, and we can see this one is enclosed in this one pair of the bracket. So this could be written like this, and because this is way shorter than this one, so this is not the right answer. The right answer is this. So we have to keep in mind that we have to get the result in the minimum length as we can. Okay, so after that we have these 4 conditions that we have to pass in order to get the right answer. Okay, so given string of digits, we will have a string and the name of this input string will be s, and find the other and another string s dash. So the output that we have to find is called s dash, comprised of the parentheses and the digits. Okay, so we have to find this string, the output string, which is s dash, and this output string will be comprised of parentheses and the digits. The digits will come from the input string, and the parentheses we have to add according to each digit. Okay, so we have to take care of these 4 conditions while solving this question. So the first one is that all the parentheses in the s dash must match some other parentheses. So we cannot just leave any bracket without closing it. But what I mean to say that if we have this 4 here, what if I just went ahead and wrote 5 pairs opening brackets and just 4 closing brackets? In that case, one of the bracket would be left without closing. So that must not be the case. We have to match all the parentheses. Removing any and all the parentheses, this is the second condition, which says that removing any and all the parentheses from s dash results in s. So that means if we remove all the parentheses from the output string, then the output string should result in the input string, because we are just adding the parentheses in the output according to the each digit of the input string. So that makes sense that if we go ahead and remove those parentheses, then we will just get the digits back that we used earlier, and those digits will be from the input string. So if we remove all the parentheses from the output string, then we should have input string as the result. Okay, after that, the third condition is that each digit is in s dash is equal to its nesting depth. Now what it means to say that in the resulting string, each digit must be enclosed by equal number of parentheses, like we discussed here. Like we have this 2 here, so this 2 has the nesting depth of 2, so 2 parentheses should be around this number, right? And we can see that here we have these 2 brackets around this 2. So this is what this third condition is actually trying to tell us. And the fourth condition is pretty obvious, that the output string should be of minimum length, like we discussed here, that this fourth output string was not the right answer, because it could be written in a way shorter length, and because of that, this second string is the right answer. So we have to keep the length of the output string as shorter as we can. Okay, so after that we have this input right here, and the input says that the first line of the input gives the number of test cases. So we will have input, and that input will be comprised of multiple lines, and the first line will give us the number of test cases, and it has shown that the test cases are represented by T, and the T lines follow, and after that whatever the number we will get, equal to that number we will get lines after the first line, and each line will represent a test case, and it will contain only string s, and we have to get the output in this form, in which we have case hash x colon and then y. Here x is the number of the test case, and y is the output string that we have to extract. And here is the input that we have to read, and you can see that in the first line we have this 4, which means that our test cases will be 4, and after that we have test case 1, test case 2, test case 3, and test case 4. So we have to read all these test cases, and we have to return the output in this format. Like for this test case 1, the output will be this, and for second test case the output will be this, and the third test case we will have this output, and same for the fourth. Okay, so what we will do, we will just go ahead and click right here, and here we will get the online editor that the Google Code Sham actually provides us. We can just go ahead and utilize this to write our code. Down here we have this drop down menu, and we'll just go ahead and click here, and we will select the programming language that we want to use. And today I'm going to use C++, so I'll just go ahead and select this, and let's just try to write the code and figure out if we can do this or not. Okay, so first of all we'll just go ahead and write the header files like we do, and because it's this is the comparative programming, so I'll just go ahead and write bits stdc plus each in this, and after that we can using namespace std, and after that we'll just go ahead and write into main, and here we can write our program. Okay, so first we have to read this number of test cases, and because this test case were represented by t in the question, so we'll just go ahead and use the same variable, and we can just initialize this with t, and we can write int t, and after that we'll just take the input for this variable. Now the number is stored in this, and we have to go through the exact number of the cases one by one. So first of all we have to go through this first case, and then this second case, and then this third case, and then this fourth case. So for that we will just go ahead and write a for loop which will iterate through each test case the way we want. So we'll write for int I, and this I will be starting from 0, and it will go till t, but it will not include t, and after that in each iteration it will just increment by 1. And here we can write our entire code that will do the required task for us. Okay, so after that what we have to do is now we read this number test case in, and after that in the first iteration of this loop we'll just arrived in this first test case, and in this first test case we have to actually read this string, right? So what I will do, I'll just go ahead and take the input for this string s, and because I'm using variable s, so I also have to initialize this as a string. Okay, because remember the question told us that we will be given strings of digits, so these are not integer numbers, these are actually strings which have digits in it. So that is why we'll just initialize it with a string data type, and after that we have to convert these digits one by one from string to integer, and for that we can use ASCII numbers, and I'll just initialize a variable called L, and in that I will just call my first element of this string. S of 0 means the element which is present on the 0th index, and after that I'll minus 48 from it. It actually means that this S of 0 will give us the ASCII number of the first integer, which in this case is 0. So the ASCII number of 0 is 48, so we'll get 48 minus 48, and we'll get 0. So the only difference is this 0 is actually an integer, and this 0 was in string, was a character of a string, right? And same goes for the other digits. For example, if we had 1 here, right, or I can say 100, so the first element would be 1, and the ASCII number of 1 is 49. So 49 will be 49 minus 48 will be 1. So this 1 will be integer, and this one would be a character of a string, and same goes for the other digits. We can just replace them. I'm just doing it so you get the hang of this line here, that what we are actually trying to do here. So in this case, s of 0 is actually 50. The ASCII number of 2 is 50, and so 50 minus 48 will be having this 2, but this 2 will be in integer. So by this line we are actually converting our character into string character into integers. So I'll just write converting data types. Okay, after that what we have to do is figure out that whether our given string has the size of 1 or more than 1. What I mean to say, for example, here we had this string right here, in which we only had one character in the string, which was 4. So what would happen in that case, and what would happen if we had multiple digits in a single string, right? So first of all, we'll just go ahead and write a condition to see if we have only one digit inside of our string. So for that, we'll just go ahead and write if s dot size. This is the method that we can use to figure out the size of the string, and this is the string that we used to get the input from the test case. And we'll just check if it is equal to 1, which means that it contains only one digit. What would you do in that case? Just go ahead and create an output string. In the question it was represented by s dash, but here I am using my s1. So in that case, just go ahead and create a string in which you have to create opening brackets, and you have to create those brackets according to the digit that you are having in your string. So that digit is actually stored in L, so we'll just give this argument here. So what it actually means that if you have for example, here we have 2, so this 2 would be stored in this L, so it will be replaced in by 2 right here. So what it actually means, that create a string in which you can repeat this character this number of time, right? So if we had this 2, so this opening bracket would be repeated twice. So I'll just go ahead and rewrite L here, and after that I'll just go ahead and write my s of 0, and after that we have to close our open brackets as well. So I'll just go ahead and write a string in which I'll tell that close the number of parentheses, and you have to close number of parentheses according to the number. So for example, I'll just try to explain this here. I have this 2, so this 2 would be converted into this right here, right? So I'll just go through the steps that we have to consider in order to retrieve this as answer. So first of all, I'll read this number, I will read this number, and according to this number I will open my brackets. So if I had number 2 here, so the number of brackets which I have to open is 2. So first of all, my string would look like this. Okay, so after that I have to add this number that I read earlier, which is 2. You can see that in the output this 2 number actually comes after the opening brackets. So after that I have to write the number that I actually read from this s of 0. So for that I have to write this 2, and after that I have to close the brackets that I actually opened, and this also depends on the number that we are discussing right here, which is 2. So it will go like this. So first of all, uh, I read this number 2 here, and after that I created a string in which I repeated this character equals to the number of times uh, equals to the number that I had this in this array, right? So if I had 2 here, so my opening bracket would be repeated twice, and after that I have to add in the string. What I have to add? The number itself that I read, which is stored in this L. So I will pick up this string data type of that digit, because I'm adding into the string. Then I'll just that would mean that I'm just adding this digit in after these opening brackets, and I'll just remove this plus here, because it only gets used in the coding, but it does not represent it in the output. And after that number, I have to close those brackets. So this part right here is the closing part, which will repeat this character equals to the digit that we will have in this, which in this case is 2. So if we have this 2, so closing brackets will be repeated twice. So I'll just go ahead and remove this plus here, and you can see this output is exactly same like this. So that is how we can retrieve our retrieve our output string. So here we actually stored this string into s1, but we have to initialize this variable, right? So what we will do, we'll just go ahead here, and we can just write string s1. Okay, so all this will happen if we have only one integer in our string. But what if we had multiple integers? For example, what if we had something like this? So we have these 3 digits inside of our string, right? So in that case, we'll just go ahead and write the else condition, which will be that if we have multiple digits in the string. Okay, so what would happen in that case? So I'll just go ahead and write the same thing here. We'll just create a string in which we will repeat this character equals to the L digit, and after that we'll just add our s of 0 here. So even in that case, if I just go ahead and comment something out, we have 3, 2, 3, 1 and 2. So first of all, let's just discuss this 3. So this is the first digit of the string that we are going to discuss, right? So it again goes to this line. S of 0 is called, which means 3 is called, and the ASCII number of 3 is I think 52, and after that or 51 I guess, and after that we will minus 48 from it, and we will get 3. Now we have 3 saved inside of our L here, and we know that before going further in this string, what we have to do is we have to open 3 brackets here, because our first digit was 3. So this is the first digit, which is s of 0, and these are the opening brackets that would be open based on this digit. So that is what I have done here. I'll just go ahead and write this semicolon here. That firstly, I will open up my brackets. According to this digit, and I will convert it into a string. So this is a string in which this character will be repeated according to this number, right? And after that, that number will be written. So that number is written in the form of the 0th digit in the string. And after that, we'll just go ahead and close this statement, and after that we have to decide what we can do with these digits, right? So I'll just go ahead and write a for loop for that. We already use I, so we can just go ahead and use j, and this time j will be starting from 1, because for the 0th element we actually are doing this already, so we don't have to do anything else. That is why we will just ignore this first element and we will move to the next elements. And in that case 3 is positioned on the 0th index, and 0th index element is already been take is already has been taken care of, and so that we will just start from the element which is present on the first index. So we'll write j1, and this j will be will um, uh, go till s dot size, and after that in each iteration this j will be incremented by 1. Okay, so what we can do here is write a logic which will decide what we can do for the next digits if we have to open up the brackets based on the next digits, or we have to close the brackets, right? What I mean to say is here we are considering for example this digit right here. Now when we process this first digit, we knew that we had to open 3 brackets because the nesting depth of this digit is 3. But after that we have this one, so this is the smaller number than this the first digit, and because this is 1, so it can only be enclosed in one pair of the brackets only. So in order to write this number, first we have to close 2 brackets so that the nesting depth becomes equal to this digit. So what we can do is we can just close these 2 brackets, and then we can write this 1, and after that we have this 2, and this 2 is actually greater number than this 1, right? So we have to open up a bracket in order to match the nesting depth of this number. So we can just open up one pair of the bracket, and after that we can write 2 here, and then we can close this bracket, and then we can close the remaining bracket 1, right? So that is how we can extract our required output in the form of a string. Okay, so what we can do, we can write a condition, or first of all we have to write the next we have to read the next digit, and for that we can get a variable in which we will store the data, or store the next coming digits. Let's take m for that, and we will do the same thing like we did for L. We will use j, and we will minus 48 from it just to convert that string character into integers. And after that we have this L in which we have our first digit stored, and after that we have this M in which our next digit will be stored, and because we have these 2 variables, then we can just go ahead and figure out the relationship between them to see whether the next coming variable will be smaller or larger, right? I hope you get this part. If I just went ahead and stored this value into L, so this coming so the next coming digit will be overwritten into this previous L, and we would have no clue that if the next coming digit is bigger or smaller from the previous one. So that is why just for the comparing purposes I used another variable, and because I have used this variable, we can just go ahead and initialize this as well. Okay, and after that we can just go ahead and write a condition, and here we can see if the previous number is actually bigger than the next number. What it actually means is this string right here. I'll just go ahead and copy this, and I will write this. Now you can see here we have this L, and here we have this M, and you can see this M is obviously smaller than this L. Now in that case, if 3 brackets were opened before, so in order to write this digit right here, I have to close at least 2 brackets in order to match the next number's nesting depth, right? So we can see that the number of brackets that we have to open or close actually depends on the difference between the previous and the next coming number. For example, here we have this 3 and here we have this 1. So if I just go ahead and do 3 minus 1, and I will just get 2. So I have to close two brackets in order to match this one's nesting depth. And same goes for the next number. In the next case, in the next iteration, my L would be this one and my M would be this 2. So in that case, what I have to do is figure out if the next coming number, which is 2 in this case, is bigger or smaller than this previous number. If it is bigger, which is true in this case, then I have to just go ahead and open up a bracket for that. But how many brackets do I have to open up? It again depends on the difference between these two numbers. For example, here I have 2, so 2 minus 1 would be 1. So I have to open at least one bracket to match the nesting depth of this number. Now after writing this number right here, whatever the number we will have here, we will just go ahead and close equal numbers of brackets after that. So if for example, if I had 5 here, then I'll just go ahead and close 5 brackets after that, right? So that is the logic. So we will just go ahead and write the body of this condition in which the next number is actually smaller than the previous number. In that case, I have to close the brackets. So what I will do, I'll just call my S1, which is written right here, and I will just go ahead and I will add some part of the string in that previous string, and I will say create a string in which you will close your parenthesis. Close your parenthesis. And how many times you have to close these parentheses, it actually depends on the difference of these two numbers. So I'll just go ahead and write L minus M. Okay, so if L minus 1 is 2, so this brackets will be closed twice, and if the difference is 5, then this bracket will be closed 5 times. Okay, and after that what you have to do is just write that next number. So in this case it is S of J. Okay, and after that you can just go ahead and update your M, update your L. So you have to just update your L at each step, so it just the right way to compare your consecutive numbers. Otherwise, if you don't update your L, then your L will always be present at this first digit, and your M would be going on the next digits, and you will have no way to compare the consecutive digits. Okay, and if that is not true, then you can just go ahead and write another condition, which will be else if, and in that case your L is actually smaller than M. Now in that case you have to open up the brackets for the next digit, right? So you will just again call your output string, and you will add another part of the string, and this time you will create a string in which you will open up the brackets. And how many times you have to open up the brackets, it again depends on the difference between the numbers. So this time I will just write M minus L. So M is the bigger quantity and L is the smaller quantity. That is why M minus L. Here L was the bigger quantity and M was the smaller quantity, so L minus M. And after that you can just go ahead and write your next coming digit right here. So until here we have solved this part of the question, okay, or this part of the question, but I think there would be another case in which we don't have to open or close any brackets. What I mean to say is, what if I had a case in which we had this 3, 3, 4. So in this case this 3 is actually equal to this 3, right? So I don't have to open or close any bracket before this second 3. So for that I have to write another case, I will say else. uh, if you have any number or any string in which same digits are repeating, so you don't have to open any bracket or close any bracket, so you can just call your output string and you can add your digit consecutively after the first one. You don't have to add any opening or closing bracket like this. Okay, so I think that sums up the solution up till this point. Now after that we have to close the brackets, and I think you may remember that I was saying after the last digit, whatever the digit is, close the number of brackets according to this number. What I mean to say is, if I have 5 at the end, then I will just go ahead and close 5 brackets. If I had 3 here, so I'll just go ahead and close 3 brackets here. So for that, what we can do is write you can just go outside of this else, and you can just go outside of your loop as well, and here you can write, you can call your output string, and you can add the last part of the string in it, which would be create a string, and in that string you have to close all the brackets. And how many times you have to close the brackets, it depends on m, which is the coming digit. In that case, for example, first we had this L and this was M. In the second iteration, this was L and this was M. Now add the last of the string. The last digit actually comes at M, that is why we are writing M here. Okay, so we can just write semicolon here. So this part actually closes all the remaining brackets after the last digit, and it actually closes the number of brackets according to that last coming digit. And after that, what we have to do is just go ahead and write the output, and we have this output format right here. We will again go outside of your else body, and here we will write cout, and we will write case, and then we will write hash, and after that hash we have this one which shows the test case number. So after that we will write I plus 1. Now we are adding 1 in it because you can see we started I from 0, but we cannot write case number 0 and then after that case number 1. Our test cases are actually starting from 1, so we will just go ahead and add 1 in it. So 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 will be 2, 2 plus 1 will be 3, and 3 plus 1 will be 4. So that is why we'll just go ahead and write this I plus 1 here. And after that, what we have to do is write the semicolon, this colon here, and after that we have to have this space. So we'll write colon and then space, and after that what we have to do is return the output string, which in this case is S1, and after that we will write end line and then semicolon. So I'll just go ahead and click on test run mode here. I will copy this input and I will paste it here, and after that I'll try to run this test to see if our code actually works fine or not. And you can see this is completed, and let's see the result here. And I'll just scroll down, and you can see for the test case 1 we should have no brackets around any digit, and you can see we have no brackets around any digit. In the second case we should have one pair of bracket around 1 and no pair around 0 and one pair around 1. So this is exactly the same like our required output, and similarly for the rest of the cases, these are absolutely identical to the required output. So that means our code actually works really fine. I'll just go ahead and click here again. I'll click on test run mode again to disable that, and I will submit my attempt. Always remember submitting your result, otherwise it will not be considered. And if you submit it and it gets submitted or it gets passed, that means your code was absolutely fine for all the test cases. So let's hope we are getting wrong answer here. For set 2 we have wrong answer, so we'll just go ahead and see what went wrong. Oh, we actually forgot to update your L here, so I'll just click here and I'll go here and I will write this here as well. Now we can try and see if the code works fine or not. And here you can see this sample has been passed, and the test set 1 was also passed and test set 2 was also passed. So that means this code actually works absolutely fine, and that is how we have solved our today's question. So I think that is it for today. But before ending this live stream, I'll just go to my YouTube channel right here. If you are interested in learning Python, or if you want to familiarize yourself with Python, here you can see I have uploaded my Udemy course for absolutely free. It was a top-notch course on Udemy, having more than 4.6 rating, and you can just go ahead and click on here, and this is the part 1 of the course. And if I just go ahead and mute this and let it run for a bit, I'll skip this, and here you can find that I have actually divided this entire course into the segments, and you can just go ahead and click here and you can find any section that you are interested in, and you can jump on to that section and learn whatever that you want to learn. So if you want to learn Python, or if you are interested in learning Python, then I highly encourage that you take this course. I have spent hours and hours making this course, and I think it will be a great help if you are new to Python, or if you are learning this programming language, because this is very important, because this is one of the most futuristic programming languages. Like, you can do machine learning, you can do computer vision, deep learning, or all sort of things. You can do web development, backend development, and whole lot of the things. If you can just go here, and you can see the description as well. I have put all the timestamps. You can just click anywhere you want, and for example, if you want to learn the order of evaluation, you can just go ahead and click here, and that segment will be played right here. So and these are my social profiles. This is my LinkedIn. You can just go ahead and follow me on LinkedIn, or you can add me on my Facebook as well. So that is it, I think, for today. So I think we'll be meeting very shortly to solve the next questions. Okay, so goodbye for now.